Simple priority. I was telling you, the very preaching itself can become practice. What for we practice? Tell me. What for we practice? So that all these great ideas will enter into you. It will settle in your being. It can change your, transform your life. When you preach, again and again you remember. Again and again it sinks in you. Again and again it goes inside you. So I always tell people, spreading is the big way of practicing. See, the people who always speak about me, they never forget me. They never forget me. There is a beautiful sloka. Krishna says, Manmana bhavat bhakta, manmana bhavat mat bhakta, madhya ajimam namaskuru, mame vaishyasi kaundeya, matkurushva madappanam. Who speak about me, who spread my glory, who constantly remember me, they enter into me. Please be sure, my Kaunteya. Don't worry about it.
And he also says, Karamaniva Adhikara state, Mama
Over. He says very clearly, when you speak about me, when you spread about me, you don't bother, you enter into me. You remember me and you enter into me. He clearly assures, Manmana bhavamat bhakta madhyajimam namaskuru, mame vaishyasi kaunteya, matkurushva madarpanam. You became one with me. You reach my own state. Matkurushva adarpanam means that which never comes back. Adarpanam means falling. The state from which you never fall back, you reach that state. You reach my own being, my own level.
You said that spirituality is a luxury, so can you expand on that? How can it be a luxury?
In the life, you can afford anything with mind. With mind only you enjoy anything. But for spirituality, you have to sell the mind itself. You have to give that mind itself. The greatest thing which you value in your life is your mind. That itself you have to give to purchase spirituality. That is the reason I tell you, it's the ultimate luxury. It's a very costly thing. To give your ego is very costly, man. Your ego is the costliest thing which you have in your life. And unless you give that, you can't purchase the spirituality. That is the reason I am telling you, spirituality is ultimate luxury. Not in the physical language I am talking. I am talking in the ultimate language. Naturally people can't afford. So when you take up that,
I'm just trying to understand the frame of mind that when you say you give your mind up or you sell your mind up. To do that also, you have to reach a certain amount of understanding or awareness.
Only when you don't understand, only when you understand that old mental setup is not worth living, something new has to be created, something new has to be done, you start working towards new one. Only then you start working towards the ultimate.
So you're saying a mere willingness to make a change
is more than enough. Because then master starts. Then he works. Then he takes care.
So it's not like you have to already have a mind to go and take the plunge, complete mind setup to take
You
the
see, the
plunge.
mere willingness is what is the complete mind setup.
And the rest of it is just old memories and junk. Okay.
That's all. The willingness itself is a great thing.
Most of the time it is easy to get started and get it going, but sustain the going. That's where most people, most of us falter. And when you see around any of the great Swamis, there are a handful of people making it move. What is that? Is that the trust, the belief? What is that that is making them to propel and keep on going?
I always tell people, in course of time, the mind is tend to take things for granted. That is what is the problem. You see, if you start with 100 mile speed, you may slow down to 80 mile speed or 60 mile speed. So start with 300 mile speed, that's all. Your whole life. By the time you end your life, you will be only 80 or 70. So that is what I tell people. Start with too much speed. Of course, I have no cop to give you ticket. In my field, there is no cop. So I always tell people, it's a usual thing. If you start with 100 mile speed, you slowly, after 10 years, 11 years, after you come to 70, then after 10 years you come to 40, after 10 years you come to 30 or something. Start with 300. Then naturally you will see. Just be all out and start. You will see, even if it comes down, it will not be less than the border limit. It will not be less than at least the border limit.
This is from my personal experience. I think when we stop or if the persistence reduces, it's another one major reason we're facing is because the expectations. You start to expect a lot more. Like
No,
you
ma,
said,
not only expectation, ma. Not only expectation. Forget about that one thing. One more thing. These ideas have to again and again plunge into your mind, ma. We are not so, what to say that, great to understand things in once or twice. If you read this book 5 times, you will understand how much you missed. When you read second time, third time, you will understand how much you missed. If you see the same ASP DVD, third time, fourth time, you will understand how much you missed. How much? You have not seen. Read this book, third time, you will understand so many new things are coming out. You are understanding so many new things. Somebody asked Buddha, Buddha, you spoke for last 40 years, but the same one book only, Dhammapada. Your whole 40 years of teaching, only one book it comes, Dhammapada. How did you speak? Why did you speak the same thing again and again and again and again? Buddha says, if you would have heard, you think I would have repeated? If you would have heard, you think I would have repeated? Because we never hear. And I tell you, now when you repeat for others, again your mind refreshes it. Again, you refresh it. And one important thing, when our own ashram people, when they became acharyas, they became a lot more mature. They started behaving with so much of maturity. One important thing you should understand, Sanskrit there is a sloka. When teacher teaches you, you learn only 1/4 of it. When you discuss with your friends, you learn half of it. When you study by yourself, you learn three quarter of the portion. When you start teaching, you learn fully. The 4th portion is fulfilled only by teaching. And one more thing, when you teach, you see, for example, when a woman gives birth to a child, not only she gives birth to a child, she also becomes mother. Till that moment, she was just woman. Only after giving birth, she is a mother. So when you give birth to kid, not only you give birth to kid gives birth to you as a mother. It's a double-edged sword. It's two-way process. Same way, when you start teaching, not only you are going to teach to the students, you also will learn new things. It's a wonderful chance to mold your life. It's a wonderful chance to take over your life. It's a wonderful chance to move in your life, to take the responsibility in your life. And one more thing, never bother about the spirit going down. Never even, you see, now when you doubt yourself, now I may start, will I be able to continue? Will the same spirit continue? That itself brings your old mentals at the back. Don't have the doubt. Now I am doing. Any day is going to come only as a now. Is it going to come as a future? No. Today I will have the spirit. Today I will have the spirit. Just have spirit for today. Don't bother about tomorrow. You will have naturally spirit for today. Spirit for tomorrow. Because today you are going to have spirit. Tomorrow is going to be again as a today. Not as a tomorrow. So it is just your conscious decision now. Now is the question. Many people ask me, Swamiji, now I decide, will I become dull? Will Will I slowly rest? I tell you, why do you bring your old mental setup? In the olden time, you always had a mental setup. You will start and you will, everything, then bus. Bus. That was the usual mental setup which you underwent.
So you tell yourself, shut up inside?
That's all. That's all. And all these times you cheated, you tell your mind, all these times you cheated me like the same way only. Now shut up. Enough. Now I am going to find my own way. Now I am going to find my way. That's all. See, with old mental setup, continuously there will be fear. Are you going to end the fear? Are you going to end the reason? Nothing. Don't even bother to keep this inspiration alive. The inspiration will be alive. When you bother to keep this inspiration alive, the very bothering, very worrying will kill the inspiration. Don't even bother to keep the inspiration alive. See, any of you thought when you came for ASP that all these things will happen in your life? Any of you thought? No. It just happened. It just,
You didn't even plan something.
I thought I was going to lose a few pounds. I thought I was going to lose some weight and so on.
That's all you thought. But you see, now you are losing your mind itself. That's all.
What was one of our teachers used to say, Joe? To hear is to forget, to see is to remember, and to do is to understand.
When you actually go for classes, when you start taking for the classes, and somebody asked me, Swamiji, when people come and always tell you, when we remember you, things go really well. But when we go for taking classes, even when we remember you, things are not going well, there are so many obstacles. I tell them, the obstacles will make you remember me more, and it will make you more solid. It will make you more solid. When you speak about me, if the person resists you more, it will make you more solid. Just talking to a person who listens whatever you say is not worth talking. I tell you, if somebody listens whatever you say, don't talk to him about me. Don't talk to him about me. Talk to the persons who resist you, who question you. That is only going to help you to grow. That only is going to help you to come up. So all these things are usual mental drama, usual mind things. And there will be little fear, unconscious fear. Will I be, will I be, will I be? Just jump. I always tell people, jump before you think. Because if you think, you will never jump. Have you jumped by thinking? No. Even at the moment of jumping, you stop thinking, only then you jumped. Otherwise you will be standing and scratching your head. When you stop thinking, only you jump. So if jumping has to happen, means thinking has to be stopped. If thinking has to be stopped, means jumping has to happen.
That's with the trust, right?
That's all. Work and take up. One more thing. Is what not anything.
My friend, it was just the same thing that they had actually done skydiving. That was the exact statement they said. Before you can even think about jumping, they do slowly.
There is nothing else. Continuously, if you can find reason, we can find enough reason. Decide, we will work over. Vivekananda was actually organizing the Ramakrishna Mission. Again, only 11 people were there with Vivekananda when he initiated the Ramakrishna Mission and inaugurated. When the Ramakrishna Mission was inaugurated, not foundation, inauguration, only 11 people. Only 11 people. And totally 16 are the people who are initiated by Ramakrishna. Please be very clear. More than 1/6 people did not receive initiation from Ramakrishna.
What initiation?
Mantra Diksha or discipleship. Not even sannyas. Sannyas he didn't give for 16. He gave sannyas only for 11. And initiation only for 16. And only for 16. Throughout his life, only 16 people took initiation from him. Understand? And then today, see, only 11 people were there when Vivekananda inaugurated the Ramakrishna Mission. He says, we have to do. Somebody raised and told, either do or die, Swamiji. Then Vivekananda says, no, do. No question of even dying, because if you die, work will not happen. Not even do or die. Do, that's all. You can't even escape by dying. Yes.
The beauty of between Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda is, though Swami Vivekananda was the disciple of Ramakrishna, but he has also maintained his own level of importance, and everybody adores both of them equally to the extent.
Of course, you see, every enlightened person is equal. Somebody asked a Zen master, what is this? You are an enlightened man, you are not following your master. He said, what are you talking? I am following my master in every inch. The disciple was confused because the master used to behave one way and he is behaving in the other way. The disciple asked, what? Your master is used to do different way, you are doing in a different way. How do you say you follow your master? The enlightened man says, my master never followed anybody. I also never follow anybody. That is the way I follow him. Of course, Vivekananda is never a follower of Ramakrishna. He is enlightened. Before enlightenment, Vivekananda was helped by Ramakrishna. That's all. Once you become enlightened, you are totally different. He is totally different and you are totally different. And masters can never be same. Each flower is unique. Each one is different. It can never be the same. If they look same means there is somewhere problem.
If we take the Shirdi Sai Baba story, once upon a time what happens, he leaves the body, he comes back after 3 days. What I heard from one of the books, that between the 3 days, Ramakrishna Paramahansa took his Mahasamadhi. And the book interprets such a way that maybe something like Paramahansa is melted back into Shirdi Sai Baba and
No. He must have gone to give a farewell.
Shirdi Sai Baba given farewell for Paramahansa?
There is every chance. When an enlightened master leaves the body, it's a big celebration in conscious level. It's a big celebration in conscious level because they leave the energy into this planet Earth. Then they leave the energy into this planet Earth and they disappear. It's a big farewell, last farewell, or a big celebration.
Giving farewell to Paramahansa.
When the masters leave the body, it's a big celebration.